better bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year, Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate, including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long, right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
Multivitamins are your partners in health. Their nutrients are key to your daily well-being, especially if you're planning to become pregnant. A multivitamin rich in folic acid can help you have a healthier pregnancy and prevent birth defects. That's why the Arizona Department of Health Services is offering a free 3-month supply of daily vitamins with folic acid. To get your free vitamins, go to azdhs.gov/PowerMe-A2Z.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher, back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but we got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And let me just say this. I swear on everything that is holy, I will get to the bottom of Jimmy Carter's death. I will investigate until the ends of time to find out the truth about who killed Jimmy Carter. I feel like gone too soon. Just gone too soon, and I don't think anybody should just accept what we're being told by the mainstream media. I think something has happened, and I'm going to find out.
Let me know when you figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, so I'll have to get back to everybody on that. By the way, Randy, he doesn't like ending years. He has a thing against ending years. He doesn't like to go to the new years, so he's gone back to August 8th. So if you want to find him, go to our YouTube channel and just go to August 8th. He's on that show. I mean, he's currently on that show. Don't know how he does it, but he's there. Trust me. Go back and look. I'm not making this up. He's actually there. So what did I miss? I've been gone for a week. Did I miss anything?
I mean, you missed some bad football because.
Well, I watched it. I didn't not watch.
Well,
the
I guess you missed talking about the bad football.
No, I didn't miss that at all. Nope.
That's about it. I think.
So, okay, well then I'm not going to worry about it. But if I end up talking about something that has already been talked about, just pause me. Just say, "Whoa, we got this."
Okay,
we talked about this. T-licious, that was from okay. Mr. Wilbur says, so if the Harmon Solar pickup contest, it's Pick'em Wilbur, ends in a 2-way tie, does Radio Ron open up the check? No. No. First off, it's Harmon Solar paying for it. But no, there will be no checkbook opened by Radio Ron. There will be a decisive winner. Don't worry about it. We'll worry about that when we need to worry about it. It's kind of Harmon Solar's thing to worry about. They're the ones putting up the prize. I know that for all the crap you people give, Ralph from Harmon Solar, pretty generous guy with other people's money. So I'm pretty sure he'll figure out how to get something sorted if that happens. I think we've run into that in the past. I don't remember how we solved it. But
isn't there like a tiebreaker for the?
Oh, I don't know.
For the league or something? I don't know.
We're using a different format this year. There seem to be like 4 different tiebreakers in place on the last format that we used for our Pick'em contest. This is our first year using the pool hosts. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry about it today. That's tomorrow's problem. All right, Wilbur. So just don't worry your pretty little self. Magnificent Mr. Mormon says, I missed the last 2 weeks as well. Did the Colts make the playoffs? No, you just made a kiss my ass. That's what you just made. I don't want to talk to you anymore. So here's the deal. We got to talk about some things real fast. And then we got to talk about the football that happened on Saturday and Sunday. I love when there's all this football all over the place. I haven't had to do one thing outside of this house in a couple of weeks. So this is like the last gasp of the NFL regular season and not having to go to Home Depot. So this is a perfect time, and it's starting to slip away from us. I don't know if you noticed. Don't know if you looked at the calendar. We no longer have Thursday night football anymore. It's gone. It's over.
Gone too soon.
Mm-hmm. And now we have to do a full show on Thursdays. So we got lucky on Mondays, though, going forward, because there are some NFL playoff games. I think GCU is happening. Speaking of which, filming in on GCU. Now, how are they doing? I mean, it looks like they've won 3 games in a row since I was here last.
They have, including Saturday night where they faced San Diego. They were over actually in the Intuit Dome, the Clippers' new building, for that game. And GCU, it wasn't a brilliant game necessarily, but they handled their business. They got in front early and they basically executed until the end. So, there's still some improvements that need to be made there. And you can hear it in the players and the interviews and the coaching interview where they know that there's a level that they can play at and they just quite haven't reached there yet, whether it's shooting the basketball, whether there's a little bit of chemistry issues going on with some of the new guys on the team. So they're working that stuff out, but they are managing to win while doing it. And I think that's the best part.
Tonight shouldn't be that much trouble. Now, I've said that before, and then they've lost the game. So, but Bryant Bulldogs tonight at GCU, I'm thinking with a 14.5 points, that just seems, is there a point where they shouldn't post these betting odds anymore?
I mean,
But it's that bad where you're like, yeah, don't post it.
well, it's never stopped anyone
14 and
from
a half
doing it in
points.
college football. I've seen college football betting spreads go all the way to 40. So like there is a point where you're like, wow, that's a lot. Even GCU earlier this year had a spread they didn't cover. But that's because the spread was 23, 24 points, something like that.
It's probably that game against that completely defeated team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be
and you know, like they did win that game, and they did win it by a lot, but they didn't win it by 24. I think they won it by 19 or something. So yeah, they post those because they want you to bet on them. So that's where they're at.
Magnificent Mr. Mormon, you're immediately getting on my nerves. He says, don't you have to start with the Christmas Day games? Those were the first games of the week. Yeah, but Keon was here on Thursday and Friday, and he's already talked about it. Why would I re-talk about the games that happened and have already been talked about by Keon? I haven't been here for a week, but Keon's been here keeping it going.
Yeah. If you had texted in, you'd know.
I mean, I might have a couple of things to mention, but probably not about the games. Berg says, have a great Monday, guys. Want to be amused or disgusted? Go watch the Pop-Tarts Bowl and Duke Mayo Bowl food collaboration. Ooh, no, that sounds horrible. Somebody's putting mayonnaise on a Pop-Tart.
Let's just not do that. Let's just
oof.
Not some collaborations just simply do not need to happen.
A lot of us follow you on Twitter, Berg, but I think I might have to mute you for that one. So GCU tonight, that'll happen at 5:40. We'll step aside for that. So Money Radio 1510 has the Monday Night Football tonight. Should have been a good game. Should have been. But since the San Francisco 49ers have got a big old bowl of suck, there's really nothing that I'm worried about in this game. But then again, you got the injured defense of the Lions, but
and perhaps the Lions might not play everybody for the full game.
Does that sound like them?
It doesn't sound like them
not.
Quite, but it depends on whether or not you believe that, you know, cooler heads prevail higher up the food chain, because Brad Holmes, the general manager, is also going to have something to say about this.
Yeah,
and they've got the game against the Vikings next week, which is the one that's really going to decide their spot. So maybe you back off this week and then go full tilt next week.
Do you feel like they really need to work hard to beat the 49ers?
No, which is exactly why you should go ahead and not play everybody all game. Like give us a hat. Give us a hat.
You might see that, something like that. Dan Campbell, we've decided he's he commits, but he's not dumb.
He's learned from a couple of his fourth down situations. So hopefully he has, because he's not quite as stubborn about it. He did take his foot off the gas a couple of weeks ago. I do think.
Is he dumb? Is he dumb?
Is he dumb? No, I don't think he's dumb.
Okay.
I don't think he's dumb.
All right, I
think he's stubborn.
Yeah, he's very stubborn, but I want to make sure, I don't be saying something and it's like, oh no, he's an idiot. Oh, see, somebody should have told me this. So he's not dumb.
He's not dumb. No.
Right. Wilbur says, is Ralph okay after the Rams backdoor their way in the playoffs last night? Who cares?
Well, just specifically because that Ralph was talking a big game about his Seahawks and their defense.
Did you have him on the show last week?
I did not know.
Oh, did you ask him to be on the show?
He did text in a couple of times.
Did you ask him to be on?
I did not know.
I told you to ask him. So Ralph, he does have a vested interest in tonight's game, because in the Daily Blender Premier League, it has come down to, between Ziggy and the Wise Guys, which is Ralph's team, the Super Bowl is down to 14.5 points. And Ralph has one player left. Ziggy has 125.15. Ralph has 110.7. He needs George Kittle to make 14.5 points tonight.
It's possible.
It's very possible. How hard do you think the 49ers are going to be playing for no reason?
I think decently. Like, I don't think they're going to go crazy, but I do think that the Niners want to make this season look as good as humanly possible, because it's just going to make things a little bit easier in the offseason with the fan base and the front office if you have more wins to point to than not. But I don't think they're going to try and break themselves doing it.
So here's the problem. They had their bye week in week 9, and every other week since has been feast or famine. So week 10, 14.7 points. Next week, 0 points. The next week, 20.2 points. The next week, 1.7 points. The next week, 24.10 points. The next week, 10 points. The next week, 21.60 points, which was last week against Miami, which means this is the bad week. Every other week he's done great, and without fail since week 10.
That's incredible. That's an incredible trend. Yeah.
Doesn't look great for Ralph. But it's Detroit. So they got a kind of a dinged up defense.
They do still get pressure on quarterbacks. So I'm interested in what the solution is there.
Yeah, we will not hear from Ralph today.
that would also be my guess.
I think Ralph wants to talk about this. I'm sure he's pacing the floor, but if Ziggy wins, he'll be 2-time Premier League champion in a row. So it's like now we got Moist One winning twice. We got Ziggy possibly winning twice. I saw that you and Randy found yourselves in 4th and 5th place. So that's cool. You know, it's better than last year, right?
Well, yeah, I wasn't in the league.
Oh, sorry, not you. Keon.
So definitely, so definitely better just in the name of I'm here and I'll still be here.
Right. You both will. You both. I will not be. I will not be here. Let's see. So, Pinocchio, the Berg, Sweaty Pants, and me, we're going to be gone from the Premier League next year. Can I just? I'm not going to say this again. Had I not listened to the Fantasy Football King on 3 different occasions,
you might still be here.
And listen, he does a great job, and people, listen. I said the same thing when Rosalie was doing this for us. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
You're trying to be
Rosalie and Scott Engel right more often than wrong by a huge margin. I just didn't have very good luck with it.
Yeah, like you try to be right more often than you're wrong, but there are going to be specific instances. I got some advice from the King this past week that kind of burned me a little bit in my in another league. I'm in a championship, and I started Jackson Smith and Jigba over T. Higgins. And
ooh, what? Huh? You really? Do you remember who his favorite team is?
Should have taken it with that grain of salt, but I didn't expect Jackson Smith and Jigba because if he had played just to his average, this works better for me. But I'm still in it. It's just that my opponent has Jahmyr Gibbs and Jared Goff tonight. So
always trust your gut, man. Always trust your gut.
I should have done it.
I would rather go down from trusting my gut than anything else. But
even fantasy experts are wrong sometimes, and that's my point.
So tonight, it all comes down to George Kittle and how well he does against the Detroit defense. Now, the issue is they didn't play this year. This is the first time they're seeing each other this year. So we don't have a previous game to give us an idea. And even if they did have a previous game, well, they have a bunch of defensive guys injured, so we can't even trust that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Latina Leprechaun says, do not besmirch the good name of my king and my liege, Mr. Scott Engel. Always trust the king. Yeah, I did. See where it got me. Okay. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We'll probably have him on here in, the next week or so. Again, not for fantasy football, but for something else. I haven't worked it out with him yet. We like having him on. He's fun to talk to.
And he likes being on, which is really cool.
And again, high percentage of being right. So there's no besmirching. I'm just saying. Kiss the Cook. What do you got for me? Okay. So he says, Happy New Year. Merry New Year, fellas. By the way, Ralph deserves everything he gets, but without KY. Huh. All right. Is that you in a Santa suit? Kiss the Cook. Keon, jump on and take a look at Kiss the Cook in his Santa suit. That's actually pretty awesome. That's right. I can recognize you in a Santa suit because you and I met at the Phoenix Open once. So, but Keon's got to see this picture. That's pretty good. think I might use you as my standard Santa picture that I'll post on the internet, specifically Twitter, just to piss people off. 888-368-1580. Oh, God damn it. Did I miss Toyotathon again? Son of a bitch. Oh. Sorry. What were we doing?
Well, I did see the Kiss the Cook Santa picture, and he's a very convincing Santa.
It's a good Santa.
That's like, oh man.
But is
He
that
could be the Santa?
that a real beard? It can't be a real beard.
It looks like it though.
He didn't look
It's
gray
either
when I met
very
him.
very well done as far as how it's put on his face, and it's not like one of those. I went to the Party City and it's clearly a cheap looking beard. It's either very high quality or he just has a nice beard.
He wasn't gray when I met him at the Phoenix Open, because but that was around COVID or before COVID or whatever. Well, that took a toll on all of us. So I don't know. Kiss the Cook. Is that just, and there's the carpet man? No, I'm not going there. 888-368-1580. So do you want to talk about the Suns?
We can.
Maybe not.
It's not as fun as it used to be.
No,
And by
'cause
used to be, I mean earlier this season.
So they have, since okay, so here it is. They have only won 3 of their last 10 games. It's ugly. It's not good. Who's out now? Because if there's nobody out, then what the hell?
Well, we did have a situation where Yusuf Nurkic went ahead and got himself suspended for being involved in a fight.
I did see that. In fact, Marshall and Washington and Nurkic, they all got suspended. And I don't know. Did you guys talk about this already?
We
the suspensions.
We did not actually.
So PJ Washington, he got 1 game because he pushed a guy or something. And Najee Marshall got 4 games because he punched, and Nurkic got 3 for being involved in it. But to be honest, Nurkic should have had 4 as well. I saw the video of the scuffle. Nurkic kind of clobbers him with a forearm. So I feel like Nurkic was just as bad in this as Najee Marshall. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think that I don't know if it's just because he wasn't the guy that necessarily started it. I have no idea what the rationale
like
is.
he started it.
I don't know
So
what the
when
rationale.
he clobbered him with the forearm, what happened before that justified what Nurkic did?
That I can't tell you. When the NBA puts some of these suspensions out, you always do end up scratching your head because there's always one guy that either gets not nearly enough relative to the other people involved in the scuffle, or too much, depending on who they are. So I genuinely don't know, but I think that Nurkic should have gotten more as well. It's just,
I figure it's fair enough.
Feels kind of arbitrary.
If I hit you with a forearm and you kind of I mean, by the way, the punch didn't really land. It kind of landed, but it didn't from Marshall. So both of them, basketball fights are usually just lame. But
They
in this
usually
case,
are, but
they both should have got 4 games.
if
If you give one 4, give the other one 4.
a lot of that had to do with David Stern back in the day, basically telling guys, if you get into a fight, I will throw you out of the league. So nobody wants to get involved in that. And I'm starting to see that players aren't as afraid of Adam Silver as they used to be of David Stern. The fighting is back. It's not great yet, but if it happens long enough, it might be. But the other thing with the Suns too is still no Booker, and that's going to be a problem because Durant played well, Beal played well, but like they're just missing that last bit of scoring punch, and because they have those 3 guys, they're not as deep, so they need those 3 guys out there. Just kind of have to wait for Booker to come back.
All right, you'll have to wait for us to come back because we have to take a break. We come back, I got some NBA to talk about. I've got some Major League Baseball to talk about. And then when we're through all this stuff that I got in this little stack right here, then we'll start talking about all the games that happened Saturday and Sunday in the NFL. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only, must be physically located in Arizona.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down. Now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone. Yeah, we were ahead of our time. We were playing this before Skibbity became part of the lexicon. You know what I'm saying? By the way, what the hell does it mean to the kids now?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, jeez. I thought you would know.
Listen.
You're around younger people than I am, except for my kids.
People in their mid-20s. What we're talking about is younger than the people I hang around. I don't know anybody.
You're closer to it.
I don't hang out with anybody younger than 24. I just don't have anything in common.
Skibbity. It's a dance song. I knew that. That's what came up. So if they're slang, we just see here slang, and let's see people. It's a slang used by Gen A, and it's pronounced skippity. But it's not. It's skibbity. It's not skippity. An adjective to mean cool, bad, or dumb, depending on the context, can be used to start a joking conversation. Then there's something called skibbity toilet.
Yeah, you see, you started that sentence with Gen A. Now we're multiple generations removed from me.
Where are we going to draw the line? You know what I'm saying? We're going to draw the line between us and them.
It's all kind of arbitrary, but
you and I can talk to each other. We have no issues. But if you and I try to talk to Gen A,
yeah, like I could talk to Gen Z just fine. I feel like once we get to Gen A, I'm like, oh
once
Lord.
You get past the sighing,
I don't know how to, I don't know what to do with Gen A. We've got nothing to talk about.
Kissacook let me know that is his real beard. And he says, thank my stylist for the bleaching. And he says, I asked him, did you work as a Santa? He says he worked at 2 malls in Detroit. That's amazing. You're a great Santa. I got to tell you, I'd hire you in a damn heartbeat. Is that your own outfit and everything? Man, he is sharp in this. Kiss the cook. I got to say, good job. Bullseye says, skippity bop, bop, bop. That was my go-to dance move in high school. Worked in all the Mormon girls. Average Joe says, Jenny, sounds like you're doing great. Sounds like you're doing a great Forrest Gump impersonation. Jenny, I don't know what the man. All right, we got limited time for this nonsense. So let's see. We talked about the Suns and the fact they stink unless they have everybody on the floor. That's just not really great.
It's not great, but like that's when you have a 3, that does tend to be your problem. Financially, it just means that your bench isn't going to be as strong as other teams who maybe have 2 guys that they focus on, but they've got more to them.
So, hey, you talked about, I'm sure you talked about this, where LeBron James says, oh, I love the NFL, but Christmas is our day. No, it's not. It's just not, LeBron. But you guys talked about that?
We did a little bit because like the NBA.
Who disagrees with me?
I mean, it depends. Do we talking about the quality of the game? Because the ratings were the NFL's.
Mm-hmm.
The better games were the basketball games.
No, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. Now, when they put these schedules together, they mean well, but you never know who's going to suddenly stink. You would have thought Chiefs Steelers. Okay, that was never going to be a Steeler win, but maybe felt like that could have been a good game.
Yeah.
Ravens Texans, that was never going to be a good game. That was never, ever going to be a good game.
When they put the schedules together based on what the Texans did last year.
Seahawks Bears, we knew in advance that was going to be a bad game.
Yeah.
So you're scheduling these things, get what you get. But I think for the most part, they mean well.
Ravens Texans could have been a good game if we got the version of the Texans from last year. We got this year's Texans, and they're just.
But it was going to be a Ravens win no matter what.
Yeah, but it could like with the Steelers and Chiefs, it could have been competitive, and it wasn't even that.
Did you know that Victor Wembanyama plays chess?
I'm somehow not shocked, but I did not know that. No.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I don't know how well he did, but I guess somebody spotted him playing with. He's a bunch of guys in New York. He went out to the park, and after they lost to the Knicks, and day after Christmas, and he just sat down, just started playing chess with everybody. Don't know how well he did. Don't know if he won. Don't know if he lost. But everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing they keep track of out there, but I do know that there are definitely New York is big for that. If you go out to those spots where people play chess on the weekends outside, it's got some really good chess players that just show up sometimes. So I don't know how he did, but he is confident because I wouldn't go out there and get my ass beat.
So he says he wants to have an NBA players only chess tournament. Well, you're going to win because likely you'll be the only one there. I don't know who else in the NBA would play chess or even.
I don't know, but
risk it.
There's some guys who are definitely.
Didn't say they're not smart.
Yeah,
but chess is not everybody's thing,
but the league is big enough, I guess, is what I'm saying. That there's got to be at least a handful of guys.
NBA players only.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Like I said, like a handful. Like I'm not saying a bunch, but if I wouldn't be shocked if there were like 6 or 7 guys in the league that played.
Well, I guess that's enough for a tournament, I guess. So,
but definitely not enough to. You're not going to fill a room with the people in the NBA that also play chess.
Well, that's cool for all the people in the park. I'm sure you guys talked about the performances on Christmas. You did talk about Mariah Carey and Beyonce. Of course you did.
Actually, not that much.
Okay. I'm just going to say this. Mariah Carey should be ashamed of herself because it was just a dumb music video they played twice. And it was just like,
oh, no,
just her standing there. She's not doing it. I don't know if she's got irritable bowel syndrome and is afraid to move, but she just stood and it was just like, no, this isn't a performance. And then it was that same damn Christmas song that we're all sick to death of.
Is she in on the joke? Does she realize that we don't like that song?
No.
Like,
she
I
thinks
understand
she's the queen of Christmas.
She's not the one playing it everywhere, but she collects the checks. I'm not saying take that away from her, but she has to understand that it's coming at the cost of none of us like her.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at singing, and none of us like her, and that's because of the holiday season every year.
Yeah. You really have to be a certain kind of diva to make Nick Cannon, seem sympathetic. I'm just, yeah.
Like, I think she's a decent person. I don't know very much about her, but
anyway,
but she's got to stop this.
Yeah. But she probably fires anyone who's honest with her. So you get what you get.
Yeah.
So then Beyonce and her performance, holy crap. That was amazing. I don't care what anybody says. I hate country music. This was all right. I was able to watch this thing. I watched it happen. And I don't know how much of that was pre-recorded when they're walking through the tunnel, or if this was all actually live. Who cares? Once she got out, into the stadium, she was live, and it was well done. It was amazing. It's not my music, the country stuff. I hate it, but for her, the way she did it wasn't like country. Had a little bit of a thing here and there.
She put a lot of pop into it, because that's kind of where she's at. But she's a really good performer. She grew up in Dallas, so it's not like she doesn't know how to take country songs and adapt them. She's good.
Yeah,
she's real good.
No, the whole thing was crazy. It was better than some of the Super Bowl halftime shows we've had. And then I go to Twitter and I see people upset about it. And hey, listen, if anyone should be upset, it's me. I hate country music, but I'm not upset about it. So why are you upset about it?
That's a great question.
I started having to block some people because I saw some racism start to trickle out. Black people didn't invent country music. What? What? Why are you even saying that? You can say I liked her performance. I didn't.
That's the reason. Like, that's one reason I'm off of Twitter, to be honest.
Did you jump off?
I didn't jump off, but I'm just not on as often as I am, because when I am on, that's the kind of stuff I run into often enough, and I'm like, I just really don't need this.
You're gonna get nowhere arguing.
Yeah. It's just, and you can block as much as you want. It used to be, if you blocked a few of those people, like, your timeline cleared right up. Now there's just so many of them. You block a few and it's
like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, like you haven't won anything. So I just kind of avoided the whole thing at some point.
So anyways, it was a spectacular performance. It really was. And I don't know any of Beyonce's music, really. I've seen a couple, she's always seems pretty talented. I don't know anything about her.
And she did have a Super Bowl halftime show that was really good. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah. I think this might have been better than that.
Really?
Well, mostly because I don't remember the other one. I honestly don't, but I know I watched it. So no, high marks for her. And if you didn't like it, you're high, because I hate country music. Have I made that point clear?
You have made that clear, not just right now. You've made that point clear for as long as I've known you.
And I really did enjoy that show. Because here I'm watching it. I'm like, well, maybe I won't like the music, but I appreciate well done performances. Top to bottom, the dancers, the marchers, the drums, the guy, everything about it. Now I know some of this might have been pre-recorded, some of this might have been this, some of that. But just as a spectacle, as a show, I find no faults with it, none. Except for I thought that one dude was Goodell, and I didn't hear anybody booing. Turned out it was the mayor of Houston in the car. I was just like, why aren't they booing Goodell?
Because that's usually just automatic. You see Roger Goodell, you boo. You don't even think about it at this point.
Sorry to conspiracy theories. Like, oh, this is pre-recorded. Oh, no, that's just the mayor. Just the mayor. It's all right. Anyway, so let's move on now. This just happened, and I do wish Randy was here. The Diamondbacks have picked up right-handed pitcher Corbin Burns, 6 years, $210 million. He is 30. He has won the Cy Young Award, but does this count as an aged pitcher, or are we getting him at just the right time? I feel like we are
for the most part. I do think that there is a level when he starts to get to maybe 35 that this contract's not going to look so great at that point. But you'll have gotten most of the years of the contract where he's still pitching at a high enough level that you feel good about it.
So we should feel good about this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just looking at his his stats from this last season, 15-9 record, 2.92 ERA. So he's around solid and can clearly
big contract though.
I mean, maybe for the Diamondbacks, but
Max Fried got 218. So only $8 more million for Fried on an 8-year. This is a 6-year, 210. Feels like we're paying this guy a lot.
You are. Yeah, I mean, but it's not like you're not having to spend Dodger money, but this is a big contract for sure. And it's one that you kind of have to, because like the Diamondbacks did struggle, I think primarily last year with pitching. Like that was just, when you look at some of the games that they lost, they were hitting well enough, but they needed more. They needed a little bit more here and there, and they just didn't have it. And part of that was, you had a number of guys on that roster underachieving as far as pitching goes, but I don't think you're risking a whole lot on a guy that has shown himself and proven himself to be a pretty solid pitcher in Major League Baseball.
How do you feel about your Guardians trading Naylor to the Diamondbacks and then signing 77-year-old Carlos Santana? Well, that seemed like a really weird move.
Not my Guardians. So,
that's right. I keep forgetting the Guardians are the old Indians. I thought it was Washington,
but it is a weird move. Yeah,
it is a weird move to get an almost 80-year-old guitar player. I just don't understand.
It's not the guitar player.
It's Santana. That's what it is.
Says. It is Santana, just not.
Oh, that's right. Since it's not the Capitals or whatever. Who the hell's your team again?
The Nationals. Yeah. The Capitals are the hockey team.
All right, forget it. Hey, remember Jock Peterson? He gone. He went to the Rangers in a 2-year deal, $37 million. Why didn't he hang around?
He was on a 1-year deal here, and he was ready to move on. And I don't think that the Diamondbacks necessarily wanted to pay him. And
he had a $14 million mutual option though.
He did. I don't know, and I don't know why he decided to move on. If he thought that team would be more competitive, I have no idea.
Bullseye says, what I don't get is the Diamondbacks spending all this money on Corbin Burns, and they won't re-sign Zach Gallen or Christian Walker. Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I can't make sense of any of this. That's why we were hoping Randy'd be here. So
yeah, well,
maybe you guys can make sense of it.
I got to look it up, but if Zach Gallen has another year left on his deal, I don't see why you have to rush to sign him. Now, if he's a free agent, well, then now that's different.
Since Randy's not here, we can at least mention that Shohei Ohtani and his wife are expecting their first child.
Oh, good for them.
Feel sorry for his dog.
About to get less attention.
Well, here's what happened. Shohei Ohtani gets this awesome dog. This dog is like, I love you. And he's like, I love you too, through translators. And so then it's like, hey, did you hear that Shohei Ohtani got himself a wife? And I'm like, oh, it's only a matter of time for that dog. And bam, out of nowhere, they're expecting. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll keep the dog, but that dog's life is not as cool anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hopefully Shohei Ohtani doesn't forget he has one. Poor dog. All right, we're about here. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some college football stuff that needs to be talked about. And then after that, in the next hour, it's NFL all the way through, and we'll talk about all the games that happened on Saturday and Sunday. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
It's fall football on The Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play, Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games, plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harmon Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at HarmonSolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to HarmonSolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice, but now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Looking for a gift for your kids or loved ones? Consider getting them something they'll use for the rest of their lives. An education. Open an AZ 529 education savings plan today. Contribute just $50 a month, and they'll have nearly $20,000 by graduation. Plus, your money grows tax-free and can be used for college, vocational school, or workforce training. An AZ 529 account will help them unwrap their full potential. Learn more at az529.gov.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
1580, The Fanatic.
Today's weather here on 1580 The Fanatic, and holy crap, the entire Gonzaga men's basketball team almost just died. Here's the headline: Gonzaga's men's basketball team's jet nearly collides with an outbound plane. And right there's the picture of it. Look at that. That's a picture, a real picture from the incident. The charter jet there almost got wiped out. So that would have been the end of, well, those people. I mean, at first I was going to say their season. That seemed a little bit
so like
callous.
missing the point a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, I don't know how they're going to do in the playoffs now. No, I mean,
it's another We Are Marshall situation going on now. No.
They just escaped a massive, massive tragedy right there. Wow. So the FAA is going to be investigating that, but everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. Anyway, so I promised college football, and I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, but Longhorns versus Sun Devils. That is on Wednesday while we're gone. Right now, your guys are pretty well favored there, and I'm a little worried. Can I tell you why I'm worried?
Why are you worried?
I feel like ASU is starting to get a little too cocky. I've seen some things be said, and old Sam Levitt there was saying, "Oh, I'm just getting happy to a chance to prove I'm the better quarterback," and I'm like, "Oh no, don't say that." Why would you say that?
Because guys,
you can believe it, but don't say it.
If you show out there and back it up, and when you play,
we're not used to microphones. The ASU guys, nobody cared about them last year. They didn't get any training with a microphone. Well, if you were the coach, would you be happy? He said, I wouldn't be happy. He said that.
I don't know, because Kenny Dillingham has basically, but when they got the college football playoff spot and the seeding worked out for them, and Texas was playing Clemson, before Texas even played Clemson, they were saying they wanted Texas. Just flat out. That's who we want to play. That team, that's the big brand. That's the team that gets all the accolades no matter what they do. People assume that they're back even when they have bad years. That's the team we want to take down. So I don't know if that's something that Kenny Dillingham has gotten those guys fired up to the point where they're saying this, or if he'd rather they not say it. I don't know.
So I would have had a meeting with him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would have had a meeting and said, listen, we're about to go to the biggest game ASU's seen in a long time. And we are up against a very good team. Do not give them any reason. Don't give them the bulletin board material. All right. Be confident, believe, but please do not get cocky. If you start to get cocky, that is when you're going to go down. And if I'm Dillingham, I'm saying, hey, we're not playing for this game. We're playing for the next game. We want to beat these guys to get to the next game. Just getting here is not enough. And if you are going to start to read your own press, and you're going to start being like, hey, I'm like Scadaboo's talking too. Scadaboo is like, nobody's going to stop me. And he says, they keep saying that people are going to try to stop me. Nobody out there can stop me. We played in 13 games. I've been on the target on each one. I'm not worried. We're going to play our game and play ball and see what happens. And he's like, nobody can stop me. It's like, I want you to believe that. I kind of believe that too, but don't say it. Guess what just ended up on a whiteboard in the locker room for Texas? Those things.
Stuff like that. And I just don't think that you want the team that is at least better on paper to also have a chip on their shoulder.
Right. Surprise them.
You'd like them to overlook you a little bit.
Yes, a little bit would be nice.
So if Cam Scadaboo's talking and they decide we're going to key in on that, I'm not saying that that's going to make the difference, but yeah, there is something to be said about having a little humility in those moments. But also, it's walking a fine line because you do want your players to be hyped up and ready to play. You do want them to be in attack mode. You do want them to feel, at least to some extent, at least a little bit invincible. But you don't want them to be so fired up that the other team starts to feel like, even though they're 12-point favorites, somehow they're an underdog. Because coaches spin this stuff all the time. They do.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a little worried about that. I'm not thrilled with the cockiness, but then again, I could be wrong. Could be exactly what they need to absolutely believe all of this and walk in there and make it come true. I don't know. I don't know these guys personally. Maybe this is what they need, but I just, you know me, I don't. It's just
yeah. And you just haven't heard that much out of Texas, which is not a great sign. Mm-hmm. Like they feel quietly confident, and that's usually supposed to be the other way around. The team that's again better on paper usually feels confident enough to do all the drawing. Mm-hmm. Somehow this is exactly backwards.
Well, the Longhorns are favored by 12.5. Hook'em Hottie says, I'm worried that Texas defense can't stop Cam. There's several players that are still hurt.
Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
I completely unrelated. I saw this quote from Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant's a big Texas fan, and he's talking a lot of trash
about against ASU.
Yes.
Wow. Send me a link. I want to see that.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Can you read any of it?
Yeah, he said the paraphrased headline was Kevin Durant says Texas will, quote, walk through ASU.
Oof.
We'll hand them this L.
That is not going to go over well.
No,
it's Suns home game.
No, it's not.
Oh. Again, maybe someone else who shouldn't be talking.
Unless if Texas loses.
You've won 3 of your last 10, Kevin. Maybe focus on that.
On the basketball court and leave the football stuff. Well, he's a big Texas fan. He went to Texas, it's
wow. Kiss the Cook says, I know one game that didn't happen. Dallas. I lost so much money on my bet. I had Jared dying before Jimmy Carter. Oh.
You took Dallas over Philly?
No, I think he meant he took Jerry Jones to die before Jimmy Carter. Oh. That's what I believe.
Oh, the death pool.
So, by the way, this was disturbing. Did you see the whole Pop-Tart thing where the Pop-Tart mascot, they're like, we choose this one. And he got into a giant toaster and they went down in it. And then they came out of the toaster and everybody ate the dude. Did you see any of that video?
No, I saw some still images of it. I did not see the video of it.
No. Well, it's a little bit long. Takes a minute, but I don't ever want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. I love to eat Pop-Tarts, but that is all just, it's getting too weird. Maybe everybody else enjoyed it, but I'm like, I don't know. Just kind of weird to eat a mascot. You know what I mean? Like literally eat the mascot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that happened, and I guess Iowa State got to eat the mascot. Let's see. Did you see what Fernando Carmona did from Arkansas? He stomped at a guy's ankle while he was in the bottom of a pile. He just starts stomping on it. And that guy, they're saying, should be banned for life from college football. Kind of agree.
Yeah, it's an incredibly dirty play. It's incredibly dangerous. It's one of those plays where you don't have to argue about why that's wrong, why that's dangerous. It's pretty cut and dry. You see him doing something that dangerous and wrong and dirty. How can you let that go on?
Yeah, he was a team captain and he's stomping at a guy's ankle. I mean, and I don't know if any serious damage was done, but the guy was like, he was lying there going, ow, you know? Yeah, that's too much testosterone, my friend. That is too much steroids. You got to go. You got to go. Moist One says, mascots I want to eat. Number 1, Pop-Tart. Number 2, Mrs. Met. I don't know who that is.
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
Moist One, why?
Baker's Cocky Hen says, difference will be that Sam Levitt is better than Ewers or Manning. Texas is like Goliath. No respect for ASU. Talking crap won't change how they play. ASU to cover, maybe win. See, we've seen bulletin board material come back to bite you on the ass. No, there's probably not a whole lot of respect for ASU out there because we ain't been around in more than a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you're a complete underdog and unknown, and that's what makes this fun, is that ASU is the Cinderella story. But it also means that, yeah, that being Cinderella means coming with less respect. That does happen. You've seen this happen to other programs who are in this position, and they haven't gotten the respect because respect comes from a history of doing this. And ASU kind of new. So now you're here. Make the most of the opportunity. If you can knock off Texas, well, I'll be rooting for ASU the rest of the way. But like,
enjoy. Because there's 2 things to enjoy. One, enjoy that they've overlooked you and underestimated you and then win. Or enjoy the amazing season you've had that got you to this point and have a good game and you know, see what happens. Listen, we said earlier on, hey, this team is looking pretty good. Not college championship good, but good. So the fact they're here, that's great.
Yeah. And like, you might expect them, you might want the media to give your team more coverage and more attention, but that's literally not how it's ever worked for any team in this position ever. So that's just the reality of it. Is Levitt better than Quinn Ewers? I don't know that. I don't think you know that either. To be honest.
Scadaboo is better than anything the Longhorns have running, right? I mean, Wisner's not even close.
I don't think so, but like a lot of that was Wisner's been forced into the starting running back position. So like, yeah, I mean, but does that matter? Because he's not running a race against Cam Scadaboo. He's running against your defense. Can you stop him?
Well, I know, but I'm saying we take each piece and kind of look at it.
Yeah, and look at it together. But I think that when you look at the strength of Texas, it's the defense. It's been the defense.
Hokamani is worried that defense can't stop Cam Scadaboo.
And look, no one's figured it out this year. Every game that Cam Scadaboo's been in, he's basically been a dominant force. I don't know that stopping him is necessarily the name of the game, but can you contain him enough to where he's not killing you, especially late in games?
Slow him down. Focus on him. I don't know, but then Levitt, I don't know. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting game. I don't
know how ASU's defense will do up against Texas.
And that's the reason why I find it very interesting. There's been a lot of Sun Devil fans directing trash talk my way. I don't feel confident enough to send it back. I want to, but I don't. I like Hook'em Hottie. Like a lot of Longhorn fans, we're a little concerned. So there seems to be, like I said, the humility seems to be backwards, exactly backwards in this. The team is more confident. The fans are more confident. And I'm like, all right. I mean, if you can feel that confident about your team, go for it. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee a Texas win or anything like that. I think they will. I don't know that for sure. And I don't feel 100% great about it.
Likewise. Bullseye says, didn't have Greg Gumbel dying before Jimmy Carter. Jimmy almost made it to 101st year of life. Well, here's the thing. When his wife Rosalind died, and there was like surprise, like, oh, he'll probably die right away. He lived for a nice chunk of time after, and I was thinking, it's like, well, yeah, finally he had a moment to himself.
Oh no!
I mean, you know, I love her, but oh, and then Clinton went in the hospital.
I didn't hear that.
He's riddled with STDs. Who knows what it was? They said it was the heart. I'm like, sure. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Whatever. If you say so. And finally, the last thing I've got before we move on to the NFL is this is just amazing. 5 players are suing the head coach of Florida State because they didn't get their NIL payments. That's amazing to me. Do I have the right guy, or is that just a different one? You know what? No, I think this is a different one. Leonard Hamilton is getting sued by no. Is this the right one? You know, I think it was a different name. This is what just sort of caught my eye. It's either this is it, or there's more than one of these happening. But one had 5 players who were promised a bunch of NIL money and then didn't get it, so they're suing the coach. It's like, feel like maybe we got to restructure how we do these things.
Yep. We have not built this to be something that can last. And, you know, part of college football and basketball recruiting has been lying for years. And now you've got money involved, where it's one thing if he lies about starting time and playing time. If he starts lying about money, now people have problems.
It is this guy. It is Leonard Hamilton, the Seminoles head coach. Anyways, we'll talk about this another time. We got to talk NFL when we come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
It's fall football on The Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play, Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games, plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is paired right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale, I have an update for you guys for our broadcast. The Browns and the Ravens and the Bengals and the Steelers, those are the Saturday games this coming week, the last week of the regular season. So we'll have Browns and Ravens at 2 p.m. on 1580 The Fanatic. But since we have a GCU game on Saturday, that means that Bengals and Steelers will then be on at 6 p.m. over on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM. So, yeah, that's what's happening on Saturday. So let's see. Browns, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, yeah, it's all right.
Bengals Steelers can be fun because the Bengals will turn any game into a shootout because they're bad at defense, but their offense is brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's why that game could potentially be interesting, where Browns and Ravens,
So, Joe Burrow's having a hell of a season that nobody notices because they lose so many damn games.
Yeah. I was actually looking this up earlier. If you look at Joe Burrow's numbers, he's Josh Allen is the MVP leader.
Mm-hmm.
He's blowing Josh Allen out of the water as far as just passing yards, passing touchdowns, yards per attempt. In fact, if you took all of Josh Allen's rushing yards and rushing touchdowns and added them to his passing totals, he'd still be behind Joe.
So I guess most valuable player is conditional with wins or something. I hate these things. I've always hated the most valuable player thing, but I'll tell you what, 3 people have made a sturdy case for it. And those 3 people are Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson. I mean, all 3 of them this weekend had performances where you're like, damn,
that guy might be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And then you can watch the next guy and have the same thought.
And then poor Joe Burrow over there, who
also looks like he belongs, but his team started off 0-4 and can't defend anybody. So here we are.
What about me? By the way, the Ravens are favored by 18 over the Browns. That is the biggest point spread you've seen, good Lord, since 2021, I think. Yeah, that's a lot of point spread right there. Ravens beating the Browns by 18. It'll be fun because I hate the Browns, and seeing them get destroyed. I guess that's worth getting up for. I guess. I don't know. Speaking of the Ravens, if they play their cards right, I don't know if they'd want to or if they care, but could be Harbaugh versus Harbaugh again. So the Ravens have the number 3 seed in the AFC. The Chargers are the number 6 seed. If Baltimore wins the division and Chargers stay right where they are, Chargers will have to go see the Ravens in the wild card round. So it'll be the Harbaugh Bowl again,
which could be good for the Ravens just in terms of they match up pretty well against.
Well, we saw how they match up. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you felt like that went really well the first time and you want to do it a second time, it's hard to beat a team a second time, but I think Baltimore plays the kind of game that it's a little tougher for the Chargers to keep up with.
So Jim Jerkface Harbaugh won't say it out loud, but in his head, he's like, oh, please don't get that. Please, please don't win anymore. Oh God, I don't want to do this again. And by the way, everybody's like, ooh, the Vikings and the Lions playing in a game. Listen, they haven't even played their game this week. The Lions have not played yet. But, assuming that they will win tonight, by time the Lions and the Vikings play next week, that'll be the 4th game in NFL history where 2 teams that are 10 games over 500. This is a huge matchup. And
it's for the 1 seed.
Lions do have that dinged up defense. Maybe those guys get better in time to play in this game. Maybe. There's no guarantee they're going to win tonight. I mean,
yeah,
and I feel like they will, but
if they lose tonight, the game next week still matters. Like they can still win the division beating Minnesota next week. So I believe that would give them the number 1 seed. And then a bye week, which would be huge for them.
Hamilton Porter sent me a thing. Here's the stats. Kyler Murray this season before Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was released, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Kyler Murray after Black Ops 6 was released, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So you think Call of Duty made Kyler's interceptions go up?
Their schedule got harder.
Yeah.
that seems more likely than the Call of Duty, which I know has been a thing in the past, but it's not like he stopped with the touchdowns. It's the interceptions went up. And when you look at the defenses and the teams they've played, for the most part, they've been more divisional games. It's more Seahawks. You got the back-to-back Seahawks game. I think it's more likely that the schedule just got tougher. Still not great. I don't think you want to see that if you're a Cardinals fan, but I don't think it's Call of Duty related this time.
It's Kyler Murray related.
Yeah,
not Call of Duty.
Yeah, which we did talk about that. So
Call of Duty don't make you short.
Yeah, and Call of Duty also doesn't make you throw the football
just randomly.
Yeah, and into a
oh my God,
like a blitz is coming and your back is turned to the defender who's about to sack you. Like the defender's already on the same side of the offensive line as you. So it's not that you can't see him. You should have known he was coming. That's a hot read. He didn't make it. Takes a bad sack or throws a horrible interception, and the list goes on and on and on with him.
Yeah, it's because he's short. Baker's Cocky Hen says, Keon just said schedule was hard with 2 games versus the Sea Chickens. Give me some of that smoke.
Okay, I'm just saying the Seahawks kind of fell apart at the end, but they lost that chance to win the division by a game. That's like, I don't know if you've seen the NFC. If the Seahawks played in the AFC, they're probably a playoff team.
Well, that doesn't feel good to me. My Colts. Oh God, I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, we don't have to.
No. I mean, we might mention a few things later, but I'm going to do this in order if people don't mind. Hurts too much. Let's see. Oh, by the way, it is now very obvious because they're saying it. Nobody who starts will probably play for the Chiefs against the Broncos in Week 18. Or the Giants. Who are they playing? Broncos. Yeah.
That makes sense. You've already locked up the 1 seed. What are you playing for?
So I wish they could find a way to prevent this. Now, most people's fantasy footballs are done after this week. So what's in it for anyone buying a ticket?
Pretty much nothing.
Is this at Chiefs or is this at Denver? No, it's in Denver. So that gives at least the Denver fans a chance to see their team play nicely.
Yeah, and let's see. Has Denver locked in their playoff spot there?
No.
So they need that win.
Yeah,
because Cincinnati and Miami are right there.
Nothing's locked in. Nothing's locked in for the Broncos. They need a win next Sunday to make it to the playoffs. They ain't been there since Peyton Manning was in town at Super Bowl 50.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's going to be funny if this is the reason they get in. All right, so let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. This was just so woof. I maybe you guys have something to say about that. I watched this game. I fell asleep during it, and then I woke up, and it was just as bad when I woke up as when I fell asleep. 13-9, and the Cardinals. Well, they were already mathematically eliminated before the game, but it would have been nice to see them show some life. They didn't. It was bad.
I mean, early on, it looked like, okay, wait, hold on. Maybe they've got something. And then,
it's always the way it is. Kyler starts off a little bit strong, and the next thing, gone. He gets a little frustrated, gets a little rattled, and he starts just chucking blindly balls up in the air for the other team.
Yeah. To me, the reason why I never harp on on Kyler's height is because I don't think that Kyler is bad just because he's short. I think that he does terrible things as a passer of the football because the game mentally he hasn't mastered it. And he's been in the league long enough. Like this is where
too long.
Yeah. And it's just, these are rookie mistakes you're making sometimes with the way that he's just insanely too cavalier with the football. Like if you're not going to get that right at this point, I think we've seen enough, right? Like there was a point where like, okay, they give him the contract. Let's see what we've got. I think we've seen it. This is what you get.
Now they're stuck with him, right?
I mean, I don't know that they're necessarily stuck with him. The worst part of that contract was this year, like the part where they had to pay him the most money. So now the next couple of years, that's an easier version of that contract to get out of. And there were some reports that they were going to bring in a veteran quarterback to really push him, just so that, like, this is not your job to have anymore, because after next season, it's only one more year. And that deal kind of nicely and tidily ends itself.
Who, Sam Darnold?
Maybe. I would.
It would make me laugh just because it would piss off Donnie.
Because the Vikings have McCarthy, and I think that that's the direction they want to go in next year. And I think Darnold wants to start. I don't think he wants to sit behind a guy who's a second-year player who he's shown he can be at least a starting level quarterback in this league. So I don't think Darnold wants to stay there. Why not Arizona if they're willing to pay him the money and say, hey, look, this is a real competition with Kyler Murray. If you win the job, it's yours. You have it. We're not going to tip the scale in favor of him. This is a real evaluation for him. If he doesn't play well, that's your job. You take it, you keep it.
Before they drafted him, I warned you. And I say now the same thing I've said his entire time here. The Cardinals will not be a good team until they've moved on from Kyler Murray, and until they bring in a new generation of quarterback. They're not going to do anything with Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate it.
You take the shot on the athletic upside and everything else, and he's got a big arm, and you can go down the list of things. But when I look at the Panthers and Bryce Young is more or less the same height as Kyler. Like he's also a tiny person, but I see more from Bryce Young as far as improving and getting better at the game than I've seen from Kyler.
Hefty Lefty says, thank you for using Cavalier, Keon. Made me think of My Cousin Vinny, and any day involving that movie makes me smile one time extra.
I've still never seen that movie.
You should probably see that movie.
It gets referenced on this show often enough that I'm confused. Like, is it a great movie?
Marissa Tomei, she won an Oscar for it.
Okay.
But the rest of it is pretty silly. It's pretty good.
Okay. I mean, I'll check it out. Like, I'm not opposed to it.
Herman Munster was in it. So,
do with that information what you will.
Hamilton Porter says, oh, God, I hope the Lions win on Sunday, or Donnie's going to be insufferable next week. He's insufferable every week.
Yeah. And also,
it ain't going to make a difference.
It's all about, look, get in the playoffs. If the Vikings get bounced in round one, it's not going to last long.
T-Licious says, what's up, fellas? Lions better not bench people and F up my parlay. That, and I don't want a hollow win if we actually get one.
I'll take hollow victories.
Take any victory I can get. Well, that's why you got to be careful this time of year with your fantasy football and your betting. Sun Devil Raul says, you're probably right, Jeffrey, but you both are kind of joining the club of Tard. If you think the Vikings are getting rid of their quarterback that has brought them to 14-2. Well, see, here's the thing. Sam Darnold has a say in it.
He's a free agent. They're not getting rid of him. It's like, are they going to pay Sam Darnold a lot of money, knowing that just last season they drafted a rookie who's the only reason why he wasn't even in play this year is because he tore his ACL. That's it.
May not be the Cardinals, but some other team has a pretty good shot at Sam Darnold.
If you're the Vikings, do you pay a lot of money and offer a long-term extension? Because like Darnold was just bouncing around the league. Now's his chance to really make the kind of money and have the kind of security,
right?
4, 5, maybe even 6-year deal moving forward.
Don't forget, the Vikings got a guy rehabbing, going to PT, who is supposed to be their future. Do you even remember his name? I don't.
JJ McCarthy.
Thank you.
Played at Michigan, won a national title before they drafted him.
But do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
they got a guy.
So
that's supposed to be the future.
So you can roll with Darnold and say, you know what, we've got McCarthy and we know what we have in Darnold. Maybe it's less clear what we have in McCarthy because he hasn't started yet in this league. But there's a decent chance that if they try to do both and kind of go, well, McCarthy at some point, that Darnold doesn't stick around for that.
All right. So the Rams are now clinched on the NFC. What are they clinched that, or is it they're just in the playoffs?
The Rams have clinched the NFC West.
Okay, good. That's
and are in the playoffs.
There we go. And now the Bengals beating the Broncos. They're out, right? Wait, the Bengals, they still have a chance?
They still have a chance because
everything's confusing to me.
Yeah, the Broncos, because they beat the Broncos. If the Broncos lose to the non-starter Chiefs next week and the Bengals win, then that's ball game. Bengals are in. Dolphins are also right there too, actually. So like it depends because I don't know who's ahead, Dolphins or Bengals. But they're both Bengals and actually no, Miami and Cincinnati are 8-8. The Dolphins are ahead, so the Dolphins would get in if they win next week, and the Bengals would be out. But if the Dolphins lose and the Bengals win, they're in.
Well, I really was hoping the Broncos would beat the Bengals, but that didn't happen. I really thought they'd win, and I'd heard there'd been my picks were kind of not great because I wasn't paying that close attention. I was off, and then I got some bad information. The Browns. Oh yeah. The Bengals. So I changed some of my picks, leading up to the games, and then turned out that I found, wait, what? Jameis Winston's not playing? Oh, son of a bitch. I would never change my pick to that. You know what I'm saying? So my picks weren't so great on that. So that sucked. How are your picks?
I got 12 so far.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I got 10 so far. So good for you.
Yeah, so not bad.
So, all right, moving on. Oh, God, it's my Colts. How dumb are the Giants? I mean, I know the players don't play to tank ever, but doesn't this just, how dumb are the Giants? So the Colts, it was 45-33, and, Flacco, just please retire. Well, you had a nice career. It's time. It's just please stop. I guess I didn't even know Anthony Richardson had back spasms or whatever. Okay, fine. But this is like the worst thing that could have happened to the Giants. And I really thought the Colts would beat them. I mean, I thought anybody could beat them. It's the Giants. And we lost by a chunk.
Big Malik Neighbors game.
And all of a sudden, the Giants, their defense was like, oh, we're supposed to do it like this? Oh, yeah, okay. 3 takeaways.
And they lost their number 1 overall pick spot.
Yeah. How dumb is that?
Very dumb. Very, very dumb. That's because if you're a general manager, you just put your thumb on the scale and go, we're protecting our starters for next year. Make a BS excuse up, but you just can't. You just can't go out there and lose that. You're a team that has no quarterback. You let the elite running back go. You just cut the quarterback, and you had a shot at either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and now you're. Where are you?
We got beat by Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Part of it, they had to ground the planes that would have flown over the Giants' home stadium saying, sell the team, and you suck, Mr. Mara, and all that. So that didn't happen. And, and here's another one. Shedeur Sanders was wearing Giants-themed cleats before a bowl game. They played in some lame and they lost. But
Shedeur, you are going to be playing in Tennessee, and I hope you like Nashville.
Yeah.
I hope you like Nashville because that's where you're going.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's not a lock yet. It's not a lock.
It's not a lock, but I believe in the Titans. ability to not win football games.
They've had the number one pick recently, so somehow I don't think they know what to do with the number one draft pick, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if that was a quarterback year for them, but also they fired ever since then. Their entire staff is basically turned over, the front office and coaching. So we'll see what these guys can do if they get a crack at an opportunity to get a quarterback. Because Will Levis, when they drafted him, that was a second round pick. They took him first of the second round. So it's not like they used a pick on a number one guy. They took a flyer on Will Levis in a year where it was a weak quarterback draft.
Hefty Lefty says the Giants had themselves a weekend, failed at tanking. Saquon hit 2,000 on your rival team. Now you got to play in New Jersey.
Oh, man. Well, they always have to play in New Jersey. That's just a fact for them.
In the interest in time, everything Pat McAfee said, I agree. just go and look up the Pat McAfee talking about the Colts. He went scorched earth on the Colts. And I mean, maybe I'll address this tomorrow because damn, I mean, say what you will about Pat McAfee. It was harsh and correct. Dear God. He's like, I'm not even renewing my season tickets. It's like, damn. Wow. And he's like Mr. Ambassador for the Colts and everything. So basically, if Chris Ballard doesn't get gacked and Steichen doesn't get sent down the driveway, McAfee's like, meh.
Yeah. The thing is, I think it's going to happen. Like, I think they are going to get done. Like, I don't know how, I don't know how you keep those guys with the way the season was supposed to go. And Ballard, like, whether you like it or don't like it, or you feel like you had a good process and you thought you did things the right way and it just didn't pan out. The reality is, the defense that was supposed to be elite that you built just kind of wasn't that. There was never an explosive wide receiving option on this team. And the quarterback you took a risk on so far hasn't really lived up to the hype.
We have nothing. Nothing.
So I'm not going to give up my Colts fandom. I don't know if I'd go as far as him, but everything he said about the players and about the situation, absolutely correct. If you want my thoughts, they're the same. So, all right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll pick it back up. We probably should pick up some speed here because there's a lot to talk about. We're now on to Sunday, talking about the Sunday games. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's UPORTE.com.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, We had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Big Blender here on 1580, the Fanatic. Oh, screw you, Hefty Lefty. He says, shout out to Drew Lock helping the Broncos get rid of one of the teams chasing the Broncos. Bronco for life, Drew. Listen, man, when you saw In the Hunt and the Colts logo, we were never anybody to be worried about. Come on, man. Pickle D says, last week I suggested that the Cardinals trade Murray to the Giants and find a way to get the first pick from them because they're dumb enough to do it. Turns out they're even more dumb than we thought. Yeah.
I don't think they're dumb enough to get Kyler and give up the number 1 pick though.
Yeah, I mean,
they are dumb enough to lose a game that would help them have the number 1 pick. So
they're dumb in many ways, but yeah. Slow-Mo Zoe says, so do you think if Kyler loses his starting job, he could switch to a different position? Now, he is a good athlete, at least. No.
Mm-mm. But it's like, because you can't at this stage in your career.
Is he young enough to go play baseball?
Not really. I mean, for guys that have been playing baseball this entire time.
Michael Jordan went out and played baseball.
Okay, and did that really go?
No, not really at all. But he wasn't he wasn't a first draft pick of any team at the time.
Yeah, it was a favor done to him. But the thing is, if Kyler went and played, he probably wouldn't leave the minor leagues at this point. Like he's not playing the game at the level of all the people who were drafted with him because they've been playing baseball this whole time.
All right, just saying. All right, so let's talk about the games. We have basically just barely over an hour to take care of the rest of the games that happened. So now the Bills clinched the number 2 seed in the AFC by beating the juggernaut Jets. Oh my God, what a horrible game! I mean, it was like, wasn't it 40-0 for a minute? And then they're like, all right, get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Who do we have to put in there? Just put in anybody. And then that guy went in and got 2 touchdowns. So, what a mess. Who was it again they put in there?
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, dear God, yeah. Tyrod Taylor. Wow. So, Aaron Rodgers is no longer going to be a Jet. There's no way he can be a Jet. They have to get rid of him as fast and as soon as possible. Eat the money. Go on with your lives.
Yeah. And this team that you thought was a quarterback away, is it? Like, Rodgers didn't play well all year. So that's true. But there are more problems than just Aaron Rodgers with that team.
Yeah. And, Aaron Rodgers, after that game, became the most sacked quarterback in history. And so immediately after the last time, he gets called for a late hit on the guy who sacked him. He got mad. He pushes the guy. And they're like, late hit on you, Aaron Rodgers, you son of a bitch. And then the team was like, yeah, you probably should not do this anymore. You mean I shouldn't play today? That's not what we meant. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you threw 2 interceptions. And he's gone, right? Gone from football.
I don't know if he's gone from football.
Who's going to put him on the team and say, Aaron Rodgers, you're here to save us?
I couldn't tell you who it's going to be, but there are desperate, dumb teams in this league that aren't going to be able to draft a quarterback where they'd like to draft a quarterback.
You know who the dumbest team is? The Jets. So
so the Jets are out of this. And I think the Giants are still drafting high enough that they're out of this. So I don't know who's left, but did I think that the Falcons were going to step up and pay Kirk Cousins a bunch of money coming off a torn Achilles, only to have the rookie quarterback they drafted outplay him? I didn't see that happening. So is someone dumb enough to do that? I'm sure.
Boy. Old and dumb. Anyway, so Pickle D says the Cardinals would do something fun like that. You know what? He's not wrong.
They said they'd bring in a veteran quarterback. I assume the quarterback they were bringing in would be good, though.
I'm thinking back to the 80s when they got here, and you saw people like Emmitt Smith come through. You saw they would bring some aged former greats, no longer greats, and they'd bring them through because old what was his name? Bill Bedwell thought, we'll sell some tickets because that guy is
no. And look, that's
so you're right.
If you root for a bad team, you've seen this before. The people used to say about Washington, you went there when your career was basically done and you wanted one last payday. That's how Deion Sanders wound up a Washington, football player and didn't actually do anything there because he was already 40. He was 38, whatever. He was past the prime of prime.
Yeah, there's a subprime. So, Sam Bradford, $50 million. Perfect. Slim Pickens hat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But again, different regime.
Sauce Gardner, he's just like, I don't know. Some people might be checked out. No kidding, Sauce.
It looks like it. You can see it.
Wow.
Might be.
Just amazing that you would connect that. Nobody more checked out than your ayahuasca taken quarterback.
I think he's just that bad now. I don't even think he's checked out. I just think he's terrible.
So a couple of headlines for you. As my dog is out there barking at nothing and doing so nonstop without anyone stopping him. The Jets to interview Ron Rivera next week.
I mean,
Next headline. Rex Ryan says he expects to speak with the Jets after the season. Rex, they're not taking you back.
To be fair,
get that tattoo lasered off. It doesn't matter if you have the tattoo. They don't want you back.
In the entire tenure of Woody Johnson as the owner of the Jets, the best run that they had was when Rex was the coach. I'm not saying that that'll make him good. I'm not saying that'll help. In fact, I think it probably won't. But are they dumb enough to say the last time we were good, Rex Ryan was the coach, so we should bring back Rex Ryan? I do think they are dumb enough to do it.
They are, but they won't. Will they?
I don't know.
You know what? For as much as you hate the Jets, this is actually pretty good.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't hate the Jets that much. I hate the Giants more just because they're in the division.
Right. You hate the Giants, you hate the Eagles, you hate the Cowboys.
But I do.
Right.
I've always appreciated the Jets because, when my team was that level of awful,
they were
always had the Jets to just be like, now hold on.
At least we ain't the.
And now the Lions have moved up. The Browns had a little bit of time where they had Baker and Baker got them into the playoffs and they won a playoff game and all this other stuff. The Jets have always been there for me.
So Magnificent Mr. Mormon, I want you to know that right next to unsubscribe and the block button and the archive button and export conversation, the block button is just right there. And my mouse is hovering over it right now because of this text. How about Aaron Rodgers as the new quarterback for Indianapolis? I just one click and I just never see you again. He could teach Anthony Richardson a thing or two.
About what?
Shut up. Just shut up.
Psychedelic drug use? Because that's as far as I know.
It can get worse.
About how to have your entire family alienate you? What would he teach him exactly?
It can get worse. Tomorrow we'll talk about MVP level play and who currently should get it. We don't have time for that. I don't even have time to talk about Titans and Jaguars. Doesn't matter. Just Keon mentioned earlier, Titans are probably going to get the number 1 pick because of how bad they are. The Jaguars, well, at least are better than the Titans, so they blew their chance of the number 1 pick. So the AFC South is just straight booty. Straight booty.
Awful.
Texans don't even deserve to be in the playoffs, if you ask me.
They'd get destroyed in another division of football.
Yep. So they're enjoy your next 1 game after the season. That's all I'm going to say about that. Raiders beating the Saints. I picked that one correctly. I was feeling pretty happy about that. Aiden O'Connell and Brock Bowers, they just found some magic together. But again, it was the Saints. So anyway, but in the process, Brock Bowers broke Mike Ditka's receiving record for a tight end. He did that. And then right after that, he broke another record. He broke Puka Nakua's record for catches by a rookie. So Brock Bauer, big day. 1 more game left in the season, too. So not bad.
Yeah.
By the way, the deadline to break any records was this week.
Well, not that record, because that record set by Puka Nakua was a 17-week record.
So he's already broken that. So that's even more impressive for Brock Bowers. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to remind you.
But the Saquon Barkley, Eric Dickerson record, for instance. Yeah.
You didn't get it. You didn't get it. And I love Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley is a humble, nice guy. And he gets it. He knows, like, man, this is not just me. It's also the guys in front of me. And he's like, yeah, I don't blame Eric Dickerson for not wanting his record broken, and he's like, hey, if I play, this week, great. If I don't, fine. So whatever is best for the team. He's like, everything that Saquon Barkley has said has been correct. That said, it needs to be brought up. If you don't do it before the 17th game, you didn't get it. That's what I think.
Yeah. Because that was a different era. They had 1 less week to do it. And, there are records falling now held by guys who had 14 weeks to do it. There's that's a different cutoff too.
That's what number 1 Rattlers fan says. OJ Simpson got his record in 14 games. Well, yeah, he had that killer instinct, didn't he? He says, I don't hear Eric Dickerson going on and on about that. And he broke the record. He had 2 extra games. So he just shut his trap about Barkley. Well, it's not even him talking, Rattlers fan. I'm talking. And I feel like there should just be the understanding of I beat the record by this week. So Saquon, if he gets it next week, there needs to be at least the asterisks. And this is for history. This is not for to bring him down. Okay, don't get me wrong. But if you have an extra week to do something, so it should be, parentheses, 17-week era.
Yeah.
Dickerson, 16-week era. OJ, murderer. So, that should go in parentheses. Simple as that. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah. Because Dickerson's not the one that's mad about it. But he would like that record. He'd like to keep it.
He did mention the extra week.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He was nice about it. He's like, I didn't have that extra week. So.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson, 9 yards short, was the last real look that we had in the 16-week era of anybody breaking that record.
So next game up, Baker Mayfield, 5 touchdowns. Beat the Panthers, as you should, 48-14. I think I got this one wrong. I can't remember what it was. Did I get this one wrong? Because, again, in passing, I heard about some injuries, and it cost me a pick. I don't like when things cost me a pick. Let's see my stupid picks here. Yep. I picked the Panthers.
Damn.
Oh, no, God, I picked the Panthers. Oh, I see. Wait, I picked Tennessee to beat. Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on. I picked the Tennessee Titans to beat the Panthers. Okay, no, I got the Tampa Bay thing right. Okay, never mind. Nobody cares. Anyway, so it started out a fun game, and then it just went out of control. I don't think there's really much to talk about on that one, right? Baker Mayfield, though, looking good.
Yeah. Baker's fantastic. And, when you look at how things are shaking out with the running backs, too, Bucky Irving was the second running back coming into the season. started the preseason, I think, third on the depth chart. He's the guy now.
Bucky Irving's going to go early in some fantasy football drafts next year.
Yeah,
for sure. And listen, I haven't really liked Baker Mayfield much. I've been annoyed by him, but boy, he's really turned into a solid quarterback. It's the guy always gives you a chance to win. You always got a chance to win with Baker Mayfield.
And he's fired up 100% of the time. You know, he's what you want in a team leader. He doesn't do it the same way that, like maybe Brady would do it, but guys play for him.
Yeah. I can't say anything bad about him. So Bullseye says, what I take away from that is that Jeffrey just went in and changed his pick from Panthers to Titans after the fact. No, it's still broken. He says, just kidding, Jeffrey. Don't block me. No, I will block you if you accuse me of that. Ralph likes to say that, but it's impossible on Pool Host, because if anybody does that, then it turns color, then everybody can see you did that. So I would never do that, even if it didn't do that. So, thank you for calling into question my character. Thanks. Appreciate it. Beer Nut says Baker Mayfield's okay until he plays the Dallas Cowboys, which is just mind-blowing. He's got a bad record against the Cowboys, huh?
Well, has he lost to them as a Buccaneer? Because this is the most weapons he's had probably ever as a pro.
Jesus, Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Mike Evans, you can talk about Cade Otton in the season that he's had.
Oh yeah, except for he didn't have a big game last week.
Not last week,
no, but he's there. You know what I mean? Like Travis Kelce's there. He's there. McBride, though, Jesus. Bullseye says, I take everything Ralph says with a grain of salt, so I don't believe anything he says. Is he even married? Yes, he is. He's got a wonderful wife. Has anyone actually seen him working on solar panels? Oh, no. He's not an outside kind of person. Listen, we got to take a break. We come back, we'll talk about the Cowboys getting whooped and other assorted things as we go through all the games that happened yesterday. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
It's fall football on The Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play, Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games, plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Think you can handle a few drinks and still drive safely? Think again. Buzzed driving is drunk driving, and drunk driving can land you in serious trouble. In Arizona, there's zero tolerance for impaired driving. Even one drink can cost you thousands in fines and legal fees. Plus, take away your driver's license. So plan ahead. Use a designated driver or rideshare. Get the facts at drivesober.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more. Or stream us live anywhere at 1580thefanatic.com. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Dilly, gentlemen. Says Sir drives a lot. Dilly, Sir drives a lot. He says, welcome back, Jeffrey. Thanks for the cash from the Heat. The book, Keon. I think he means beat the book. Although Heat the book sounds pretty good.
It does sound pretty good, actually.
He says, go Devils. Horns down. Sorry. I should not have read that. Sorry. Apologize.
It's okay. But this is what I'm talking about when I say there's a level of respect that's not going both ways, and it seems to not be going the way you'd think. I expected the Longhorn fans to be the ones.
Feels like respect though. He says horns down, forks up, dilly, which means he respects you. It means he wouldn't bother with that if he didn't respect you.
You could go Devils. You don't have to hit me with the horns down. You don't have to.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have read that.
Well, that's the thing. You said it. He typed it.
Yeah.
So
that's not me though. That's not me.
I'm just saying.
You haven't heard me say that.
No, you have not. And I would not put that on you.
Maybe even over a year, if not more, since I've shown you the horns down. Since I've shown them to you.
Yeah.
Just to get on your nerves.
And yeah, it's usually a joke.
Yeah, you were never. Never any. I never saw this coming. The
who could have seen this?
No,
I could not have predicted this. So look,
I'm not saying I'm never going to horns down you.
They're going to play Wednesday, and that's what we'll let them decide it. I don't have to say anything.
In the future, probably going to horns down you. Probably going to happen
once we get this behind us.
Right now, I'm not
way.
that confident. Against the Spread says, happy early New Year's, gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed my 10 picks of Christmas that I sent in after conference championship weekend started. I was 8-2 with those picks. I also said fade the ACC, and that worked out pretty well. It's a damn shame there aren't any more ACC teams to bet against this bowl season.
That's true.
That tells its own story right there, doesn't it? So the Jet says, Baker Mayfield is the reason I have not jumped off the cliff yet. I think if we put a bunch of great tools around Kyler Murray, he could have the same success. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. I'm very confused by this. So you're saying you're a Cardinals fan? Why is Baker Mayfield that reason? Have you seen how he's doing with Tampa and you think that could happen? It's not going to happen. Kyler Murray is talented. Kyler Murray can do some things. Kyler Murray cannot win you a Super Bowl. Kyler Murray can't even get you to a playoff. Kyler Murray is not the guy that the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm going to be honest, or any other team needs. Wherever he goes, mediocrity is going to follow. And it's not, I'm sorry, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's got kind of a rotten attitude sometimes, but I don't think he's a bad person. And I think he's a very talented athlete, but he's not the guy. He's not the quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't think it's
too short.
I don't think that I don't know. When you look at Darnold and you look at Mayfield, I feel like you saw more from them before. Especially with Mayfield, because Mayfield was actually having a good career. What lost him his job in Cleveland was he tore his labrum in his shoulder and decided, you know what? I will not have surgery. I will not end my season. I will play through this. And then everyone blamed him for trying to actually be tough and play through an injury. Nothing was wrong with Baker. He was fine. Like Baker never really had the highs and lows that Kyler has. And that's the problem with Kyler. Kyler can play like the best quarterback in the league for a week. The next week, he can also play like the worst quarterback in the league. And I don't like when a quarterback has a range of outcomes that can range anywhere from I'm second best in the league to I am the actual worst. Like, you can't plan around that.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll go off somewhere else, figure his bleep out like Baker did, and you'll see a different Kyler in the future. But if you're the Arizona Cardinals, you can't wait. You can't. You got to move on. And there's rumors of possible trades. This is going to be an interesting offseason. I don't 100% count on the Cardinals to get this right. But Awesome Fart seems like a pretty good GM. I don't know what you can talk Bidwell into when he's busy yelling at people. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Sir Drives a Lot says, ASU fan my whole life. The Horns got to go. I know I'm not going to read that. And go on to the next game.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I can't take that as respectful, because you're just not being respectful. That's all.
So sorry, Keon, but the Eagles.
But that being said, I hope ASU gives it all they got, and if they win, I'll still be rooting for them.
I hope it's a good game that ASU wins. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, because I like ASU. I do like ASU, and
it's like if Randy beats me in fantasy football, I wanted to win, but I'm not mad. I think Keon, will you feel the same way? You want the Longhorns to win, but you're not gonna be mad about it if they don't, are you?
No, not really. I mean, because if you deserve to win, you'd win. So that's. I'll be mad probably at my coach more than anything, because if they lose that game, that seems like a coaching issue. Now then you got some things to reevaluate, but I won't be mad at the Sun Devils for going out there and handling business.
You get to have your moment, one way or the other. So let's talk about the Eagles clinching the NFC East. Sorry, I know you don't like that. I mean, that was
I'm okay
emotional for two reasons game for you. Love seeing the Cowboys get blown out. Got to feel great. But then you like the Eagles clinching that number 2 seed.
They were in the driver's seat for it. They've been in the driver's seat for a few weeks for clinching the division. The moment that Washington lost to Philadelphia the first time they played, Philly was in the driver's seat. And I saw it coming. They're too good of a football team. They're too talented to lose enough games. And Washington had their 3-game losing streak. And it was either going to be Washington or Philly. So as far as in my head, Philly had already taken the division. Now it was just mathematically closed out.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, Saquon Barkley now 9th running back with a 2,000-yard season. Hooray for him. Glad to see him move on from them idiots in New York and have a great career. We've already talked about that as far as Eric Dickerson's record and all that goes. I'm sure we'll talk more about it as time passes here. And he probably, I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to get to play or not next week. Do you think they should let him play? You think they should do a thing like what the Chiefs are doing and bench all the starters for safety?
They should bench everybody. They should because they've got the division. They're already in the playoffs. They're, because they're a division winning team. They're going to get that first round at home, no matter who they play. So unless there's some team that you think you're going to try and position yourself to get in the playoffs, bench everybody. Like what possible reason could it serve you or help you to risk the health of Saquon Barkley?
Yeah.
And then, I think you're playing the Packers in the playoffs if everything goes the way that it's continuing to. I don't think you want the Packers without Saquon.
He's got the personality where you can go to him and not worry about saying, hey, listen, we really would love to see you get this, but at this point, you are more important to us in the playoffs. And I'd ask him, so, we would prefer you didn't, but if you insist on it, if you really want to go for that record, we will say, we'll agree.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll give you a quarter or give you a half to try and go get it. And then if you can't
give him that sort of leeway, then, he'll make the right decision. He'll probably say, no, that's fine, coach. I'll sit this one out.
I think Saquon, like the biggest FU to the Giants would be, we win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm not healthy, we're not winning one. So if I'm Saquon, I sit this one out too.
Yeah.
And I know you want the record. I do, but you had an incredible year this year. You're going to have others. Because like that team's still talented and you're still Saquon Barkley.
Against the Spread says 2 questions. Was the late pick Kyler Murray threw off of homie's face mask against Little Murray's fault? I don't remember which one was that, because I saw one where he was just under pressure and he just chucked it up in the air without even really, like, it's almost like he closed his eyes. Somebody's shooting targets and they close their eyes. I'm like, dude, you just close your eyes. Why would you do that? And he threw an interception like that. So I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. He says, will Dan Campbell actually be stupid enough to play his starters in a meaningless game versus San Francisco tonight? Because if he ain't, San Francisco plus 3.5 at home, that looks like a good bet. I think he is.
He's Dan Campbell, man.
Yeah, everybody starts every game, even next week.
Now, if I were him, I would at least say, if I was a general manager, somebody that had some authority in that building, just tell Dan, look, man, how about a half? Because if we lose, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, if we lose Jameson Williams, if we lose Jahmyr Gibbs, oh God, if we lose Jahmyr Gibbs, we're done. There is no Super Bowl for Detroit if any of those guys goes down, because without our defense, the offense is what we need. And we already lost Montgomery.
We should probably see if there's any indications of who will play and who will not play tonight. But the thing is, if there's no injury report and it's a matter of sitting people down, there's no rules against it. They don't have to announce anything. I don't know. It's a good question against the spread. Sir Drives a Lot says Murray does that once a game. The old chuck and pray. I know. Seen it over and over and over. It's tough to see. To see. All right. I don't know how many more games we have, but it feels like a fair amount. So we're going to have to buckle down and get this done because GCU basketball is on the air at, I think we're stepping aside at 5:40. So we got 40 minutes. I think we can do it. Finish talking all the NFL games that happened over the weekend before the broadcast tonight. So come on back, kids. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer suggested retail price. Manufacturer suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Your car is making a strange noise. No matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257 CDP Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it. All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but Keon Rose is in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Question is, will Dan Campbell tonight play his starters against the San Francisco 49ers? So this is in San Francisco, but that doesn't matter to whether or not Dan Campbell is going to play his players. Feel like he will. Feel like that's just sort of his thing. And they won't want to rest anybody next week because next week, that's an important game, man. The Vikings.
Like the week is to rest this week because
Yeah.
win or lose this week.
Right. Doesn't matter. Next week matters for all the chips, right?
Yeah.
For first place, for home field advantage and everything.
So
Right.
I would take this week to stay healthy. And then, maybe get healthy as well. And then next week, you put it out there and see if you can get a chance to win this division and obviously the 1 seed as a result.
Against the spread says there's no indication because the spread on tonight's game has remained the same. Vegas would be over any little piece of information.
And they kind of are because there's a lot of places that aren't offering that don't appear to be wanting to offer unders for Lions players. So I don't know.
Here's what they got. Here's what I'm seeing. Lions are favored by 3.5. I wonder if that line is moved. Total for the over, they're saying over 50.5. The money line is on the Niners at plus 175. That's what I'm seeing right here. Your, odds may vary.
That's true.
So who knows? I would just be shocked. They might do a thing with Gibbs. They might do a thing with him and run some backups, let them we want to give them some more time.
I would, because without Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs is your running game now. You can't lose that guy right now.
So I think Dan Campbell is probably smart enough maybe to do that, but I would doubt it if anybody else. They might cycle in and out some defensive players. We want to give everybody a chance. But as far as Goff, he will play. As far as Amon St. Brown, he'll play. Laporta will play. Everybody who can play will play. As far as wide receivers, tight ends, you name it. But if Dan Campbell's smart, he's going to be cautious and he's going to committee a running game and let Gibbs take it easy. Mars 805 says, happy Marley Monday, guys. Just wondering what the weekly winner gets for the Harmon Solar Pick'em. He says, I'm just asking for a friend. I'll take an 805, please. Go Raiders. No, I'm not going to say Lakers. Go Diamondbacks. Yeah, you get a $50 gift card to Kasai. So, I mean, did you win again? Didn't you win once already? I don't know. I got to catch up with all the winners since I've been off. But yeah, that's what they get. A gift card to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. So there you go. I was just there last week. It was great. It's always great. Always great at Kasai. I haven't been in the new place yet. I don't know why I would. I'm not going to drive extra far just to see what the new place is like.
Yeah, if it's exactly like this place.
Yeah, I already like this place.
Yeah.
I don't need to go see that place. Somebody else should go to that place.
You only go to the new place if the new place is closer than the old place.
I'll go to the old place if I go to the old place. If I go to the new place, if somebody's like, free dinner. Okay.
Well, how about
now
that?
I'm there.
That'll do it.
I'm sure all of Kasai places are going to be great. All right, so let's get back on it. Let's talk about some of the games that happened yesterday in the NFL. The Dolphins
Is this false hope? Are they?
It's not, but it does depend on the Broncos, who are playing the Chiefs backups next week.
Right. So here's the thing. Dolphins, your quarterback is beat the hell up. I like seeing Fish Tank happy. But
it's not going to change your draft positioning
Yeah.
much, but players get to hit more incentives for making the playoffs. Obviously, it gives you as a coaching staff a little bit more leeway with the front office and with the ownership to make the playoffs because, hey, one playoff game is more revenue for the team, more TV revenue, more stadium more TV revenue. I guess not stadium revenue if you're going to be the 7th seed, but like you're going to be able to make some playoff money, and that's nice. So, I think you do it if you can, even if you're not going to win a game when you get there.
Yeah, listen, they were struggling with the Browns. I know the score was 20-3, but when you were watching the game, for a lot of that game, they were struggling against the Browns. Tyler Huntley, all right, that's great. He did all right. But this team
and there really needs to be something about the Miami Dolphins playing cold weather games. They are not good in this time of year when they're playing cold weather games. Tua is his worst. This offense seems to be its worst. And if they were to make the playoffs, round 1, that's in Buffalo. I mean, it's another cold weather game. You've got no shot, it feels like, effectively of going anywhere. Yeah, like the one of the reasons why it seems like they always seem to struggle against bad teams when you go and look at the temperature of the game, you're like, oh, yeah, it's the Dolphins in another cold weather one. They've got to figure that out.
So, Fish Tank, congratulations. Your team is 500. I wouldn't think too much about the postseason. That's all I'm going to say. Myles Garrett became the first in NFL history to get 14 sacks in 4 consecutive seasons. Well, we've all known that Myles Garrett is no joke. He's a great player. And, he's good with a weapon. He's good without one. He's just good.
He's just good. And I know TJ Watt probably wins Defensive Player of the Year, but if I had a vote, I'd vote for Myles Garrett.
That'd be fair.
His team is worse. He has less help on that defensive line. TJ Watt is obviously amazing and having a great year. Alex Highsmith is also having a fantastic year, is also in the mix for Defensive Player of the Year. That's how good he's been. Myles Garrett doesn't have another dude like that next to him. It's just him.
Right. No, listen, Myles Garrett, Hall of Famer. I'll call it right now. He's future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Baker's Cocky Hen says, when is there going to be a new place out by my place? I'm just not allowed to talk about these things. Some of you know about these things, even though I'm not allowed to talk about these things. I'll find out. But there is the word that one is on its way to the east side. Pickle D says Dan Campbell would sooner bite off one of his own kneecaps than sit players, especially against the Niners. Got to avenge that NFC Championship loss from last year.
Yeah, which I'm sure the very petty Lions have something drawn up for that too.
That's a good point.
But if they don't play their starters, I don't think that's Dan's decision. I think someone came from up top and said, Dan, I know you want to play the starters. We could go to a Super Bowl. You're not playing the starters. and like Brad Holmes is the general manager, and he has enough pull in that organization to say, Dan, no. But they would have to really step over Dan to make that happen. It's not going to be his call.
Yeah, who wants to tell Dan anything?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't. He's large.
So okay. Here's see. I love my Vikings fans, except for you, Donnie. And it was nice to see, Sam Darnold get his roses. He got his flowers in the locker room. I'm sure you've all seen that viral video where he walks in there. Hey guys, what's up? Ah! And then all of a sudden he's on shoulders and they're all dousing him with water. And they're all loving their Sam Darnold. 377 yards. And just had himself a great day, beating the Packers 27-25. So Darnold just was on fire, 33 of 43, 1 interception. But outside of all that, I mean, the offense just destroyed the Packers. I mean, It's a close score, 27-25. But if you look at the offensive output, it was 441 by the Vikings, 271 by the Packers. And remember, one of the touchdowns the Packers got was a pick six. So as far as offensive output, the Vikings, pretty much owned the Packers.
They're a loaded roster, and it shows up every single week how absolutely talented they are. We talk a lot about, Justin Jefferson, obviously, and Jordan Addison's obviously emerged as well. Hawkinson's been great. Jalen Naylor's another guy that's just capable of having a monster game. And it's clear like Sam Darnold is comfortable enough at this stage in his career. He doesn't have to lock on any single receiver. He can spread the wealth, and the team has plenty. So why not?
From the hip, who do you got between the Vikings and the Lions next week? Just from the hip.
Vikings, they're healthier.
That's
healthier.
The thing. I worry about Detroit, but
Yeah.
I think I'd take Detroit. I think I'll take Detroit. I
get it. I do.
The heart. I feel like Goff is, a better quarterback. I feel like, I don't know. It's tough because.
Yeah. They both have weapons to work with.
But Justin Jefferson, oh my God,
Yeah. And
tough.
against that defense, to me, the Lions defense is the reason why. If you ask me to just go with my gut, I'll say Minnesota.
I like Minnesota's coach. I like him.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell.
But I just feel like Detroit's got that heart, that killer instinct. That's the intangible. Not saying Minnesota doesn't have it. I don't know. I'm from the hip. I'm saying Detroit. May change my mind.
They lost to Detroit earlier this year when they played 31-29. It was a very close game.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a great game.
And they may meet again in the playoffs. So there's a good
either
chance.
be a great game or a blowout. Now, the reason I say that is because of the injuries on Detroit. So if that defense is that in bad of shape, then Minnesota could run away with this pretty quick.
And I also think you wave the white flag at a certain point in this game too. Like if you're starting to get your ass kicked, I wouldn't try to stay there and scrap it out. And then also risk injury in addition to getting my ass kicked.
You're not Dan Campbell.
I know I'm not Dan Campbell. I will never be Dan Campbell.
By the Lions.
Yeah.
Just not going to happen.
But maybe Minnesota would. If Minnesota was behind, I know Kevin O'Connell is more pragmatic than Dan Campbell is. He'll call off the dogs and go, you know what? Playoffs are where it counts. I'm not going to risk Justin Jefferson or even Darnold if we're out there and we're down by a couple of scores and it's late third quarter. I let go of the rope, honestly.
Beer Nut says, "Hello, gentlemen. I just want to announce that I am the champion in League 12. Nobody cares, Beer Nuts. Nobody cares about your fantasy football. Congratulations, though." Says, "I had the 10th pick and I was in 4th place. Glad I was on top of picking up free agents. One fail I did do was picking up Bucky Irving and then dropping him. My savior pick, Brian Thomas and Adam Thielen. Congratulations, Beer Nuts. And I'm sure we'll go over all of that tomorrow once all the results are in. Like I've been telling people earlier today, Ralph, his chance of winning the Premier League over Ziggy, last year's winner, that's our Super Bowl. Those are the teams. He needs Kittle to have more than 14.5 points tonight. If Kittle does 14.5 points well, he wins. If he doesn't, well, I'll be texting him. Random texter says, "I may have stunk badly at fantasy football, but I'm happy I passed you in the pick'em contest." Oh, did you? Yeah, I was off last week. Listen, I'll take care of business this week.
During the holidays, the level of research goes down.
I went from 4th to 9th. Now I'm 13th.
I usually think through my picks. I actually just went gut reaction
Yeah.
to every single thing and just moved on with my life.
Well, I did click. If I hadn't gone back and second guessed my original picks, I'd probably still be in good shape. But whatever, it's the holidays. Don't care. And I can't win the money anyway. Beer Bob says, "How crazy is that? The loser of the Lions and Vikings game is going to drop to the 5 seed with 14 wins." It's just the playoff structure, my friend.
Yep.
That's just the way it works.
And that's the NFC North in particular being the toughest division in this National Football League.
Wouldn't you hate to face a pissed off number 5 Lions?
Either way, I don't want to see the Vikings or the Lions at the fifth seed.
No, they'll be pissed if they're the 5th seed.
I think both of them will be.
They'll be more angry.
I am not
more
interested
angry than the Lions.
And especially with Ben Johnson calling plays, I don't even see what kind of nonsense he's going to draw up just to embarrass my team.
Oh, that's right. He is very petty. He's very petty. You're right.
With a play designed just to make us look stupid. I don't want that.
Hey, we're down to one game. Down to one game. I'll be darned. I did not expect to get this far this fast. Your team.
Yeah, and I know which game it is.
Sunday Night Football. Commandos in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs.
We're in the playoffs.
Don't know. You're not going to clinch anything, but you're in the playoffs. You're no matter what happens next week, right? You're in the playoffs.
No matter what happens next week, they're in the playoffs.
2 things are true. You have a winning season no matter what, and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I never thought I would see this team be 11-5. I don't know.
Rubbing your eyes.
What? Maybe I was in 8th grade the last time that happened. It's been a long time. It's been a long damn time. I don't know, man. I'm speechless. and that Jaden Daniels, man. He is the most refuse to lose player that's ever worn the uniform of that team.
Jaden
maybe this side of John Riggins. I'd like
is making all the other rookies look bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about my quarterback. Oh, it just needs a little time. Needs to be, you talk about some of these other rookies. Oh, they just need a little time.
Or even some guys that look good. Like Bo Nix looks good.
Jaden Daniels making everybody else look bad. He showed up like a 3-year veteran. I mean, I was watching that. I'm just amazed. I'm like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't get hurt. But then as I watched him play, I'm like, I don't think he's going to get hurt.
He's very much like Lamar in terms of how shifty he is. He never really takes a clean hit. So he never really runs that injury risk. He knows when to get out of bounds. He slides. He's just a smart football player.
He doesn't always slide. Sometimes he went head first. I'm like, whoa. Jim.
Yeah. And that's usually when there's like a lot of traffic in the area. And then it's like, okay, well.
But you know what, though? I think he's just very aware. He's very aware of where people are and what he's going to do with his body next. So when he did go head first and sort of do a little tumble or do a little thing, you're like, okay. No, he's aware of what's happening, what's doing. The risk is somebody else doesn't let up or somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He is risking when he does that. But I guess after a few plays, I'm just like, yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, I wish Anthony Richardson had spent some time with him.
I personally,
Somewhere?
I wish Anthony Richardson had just spent more time in college. Like he just didn't play enough football, and it shows. Where Jaden played a lot of football, and it shows up on the field because of all the experience playing in big games, playing in the SEC. LSU had a great offensive coaching staff. Like those are the things that kind of signal to you that a guy's going to have some NFL success. I just feel lucky. I just feel really fortunate.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about some of Jaden Daniels' accomplishments already and some other various things that we need to talk about before GCU takes over the airwaves at 5:40. So it's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
It's fall football on The Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games, plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice, but now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com. Pleasure here on 1580 The Fanatic. Ralph from Harmon Solar says, let's go, Kittle. He says, my bad for removing the Tampa Bay defense and playing the sorry-ass Colts. You're a dumbass. Why would you do that? What?
I understand that Tampa Bay's defense has been up and down, but what about the Colts made you think that that was the defense that to play this week?
Even against the Giants, that was a dumb idea. Holy crap. And I get it. I picked the Colts to beat the Giants, had no idea it was going to go that bad.
I did too. You're not alone on that.
I would have never grabbed their defense for fantasy. Oh my God. Well, here you are. If Ralph's, Kittle can get 14.5 points, he will win the Premier League, and we'll never hear the end of that crap. Sir Drives a Lot says, go Commandos for Keon. Jaden Daniels, go Devils.
I appreciate that, man.
Remember, he was a devil, then he wasn't. So
yeah.
Don't blame him because Herm Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, listen up, everybody. Against the Spread says, here's my last pick for 2024, gentlemen. So pay attention. Boise State's quarterback has 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. SMU turned the ball over many times versus Penn State and gave Penn State, he had to, well, I probably shouldn't say. Sorry, let me start that sentence over.
I could take a guess, but let's.
SMU turned the ball over many times versus Penn State and gave them pedophiles 2 pick houses. Boise will take care of the ball, dominate possession with their run game, and play action on offense. Boise almost beat Oregon with that formula and can definitely beat Penn State. I find it hard to believe Penn State can cover 12 at a neutral site against a solid squad like Boise. Boise covers the plus 12 and might win the game outright due to the boulder on their shoulders. Boise State plus 12 and a sprinkle on the money line on the Broncos is my play. Happy New Year, and always practice money management.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
As per usual.
And I agree with what he has to say about Penn State. I just can't always read it the way somebody types it.
Yeah. I mean, we've got FCC standards to get around.
Commando Duke says Jaden Daniels should be called the smiling assassin. When the pressure's really on, his back's against the wall, he just smiles, makes plays.
Yeah.
Dude is special. He still owes me a win against the Cowboys and one especially against Dak. Dak has just owned us for years.
It'll happen.
Pickle
This
D's.
year's not the year, but it'll happen.
Pickle D says great game for Daniels and the Commanders, but that big Penix energy looks like there's something there. Gives me hope for the future. Dirty Birds with big Penix slanging it. You know what though? The difference between Jaden Daniels has presence and poise and talent. Penix Jr. He looks a little overwhelmed still.
Yeah.
He's going to need a little more time. He's going to be pretty good. Don't know how good yet, but you could tell he was a little over his head in this game.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily his fault. Like there was a point where Jaden didn't look this poised either, but Jaden got to play the whole season. This is Penix's first start. He did get to play.
Was this really his first start?
Yeah, he played against the Giants, but I think Cousins got benched,
Okay.
and then he went in. But as
Well,
far
no
as
wonder his eyes looked like that.
yeah, like he's just
His eyes were big sometimes. He's like, oh dear God, what
for
am I doing?
a first outing,
Yeah,
you know,
not
with
bad.
with a shot at the playoffs on the line, because the Falcons could have maintained control of that division had they won.
Mhm.
I can understand you looking a little bit rattled where Jaden got to open up his season with kind of no stakes. It was just week one. You're a rookie.
I don't know if it would have ever phased Jaden Daniels.
And maybe it wouldn't have, but they still brought him along slowly. It was a very limited playbook that first week against the Buccaneers, and then they slowly opened it up. And maybe he didn't need that, but he got that, and it probably would have helped Penix to have that.
So Michael Penix Jr., 19 of 35, 223 yards, touchdown, but he did throw an interception. And it was just, I would, I'd say it was competent. He made a mistake, but like you said, newbie, not bad for the newbie.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of college football too, but NFL, there's just a difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And listen, the Commanders clinching the NFC West for the Rams. What the hell were you doing?
Not on purpose. It was trying to clinch a playoff spot for us as well.
Oh, look at this. Beer Bob says no. It was Penix's second start.
Oh, so he did start the Giants game.
Yeah, he's looking to be the first rookie quarterback to go 2-0 for the Falcons.
Well, I suppose not.
Nope, not gonna happen, Beer Bob.
But I do like I don't know. I do like watching Jaden in the fourth quarter. Like that's where, to me, he separates himself from a lot of younger players. Is the fourth quarters of games, he just comes alive. If they're even remotely close, he just takes over. And I think he's thrown 12 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of games this year, which is no one else is even close to that number, rookie or not.
Right.
He takes over games at the end.
He set the record for most rushing yards by a rookie quarterback in NFL history. There's one. And then the other one was, he has got a touchdown pass in the last 30 seconds of 5 different games, another NFL record. So Jaden Daniels over here setting records, and you're right, Cardinal Art. James Franklin couldn't beat himself out of a wet paper bag. Secondly, I know them dudes who crashed Jaden Daniels' locker at ASU talking crap, wish they were just even a groupie of his now. Yeah, let me tell you, I was against that.
Mhm.
When Jaden Daniels left and they all started doing that, I was just like, come on, guys. Why would you do that?
You can be better than that. You know that how this works. Guys agree to play for a coach, and when the coach is gone, then you usually leave. Like he's not the only person in the history of college football to do it. It's not even close. There will be others doing that. There's no reason to carry yourself that way and then record it and put it on social media. It's just nonsense.
So were you dying a little bit last night? Because we were watching the game. I watched the whole thing, and once you got the game into overtime and everything that came, just were you dying a little bit? Just dying?
Not really. Like I don't
throwing anything, drinking heavily.
No, not really. Like I don't want to say I wasn't worried. I was worried
because that looked that was rough, man.
It was very rough. Especially you get to that field goal and it's a 56-yarder, and you're like, I don't know if they're even gonna survive this. And then the field goal is short. You get to breathe a sigh of relief. But no, like I said, I believe in Jaden. Like when the game is on the line, he delivers, and he's just been doing it all year.
The gift was the coin toss.
Yeah.
You got lucky on that.
Yeah.
You got the ball first, and I knew it was over.
Yeah.
I knew it was over.
Because if they got the ball first, I don't know that necessarily.
No, if you're right. The Falcons get the ball first, it'd be like, there's a chance.
Yeah.
But once he said tails, I was like, that's it. We'll be done here in a couple minutes. I was worried about being up too late last night, and it's like, they won. Okay, no, we're about to get an extra 5 minutes.
There was a third down that Jaden ran and picked up the first down with his legs. There was a fourth down, I think a 4th and 5. He runs and picks it. I mean, it's for him at this point in the season, it feels routine. Like I've never been, as a fan of this team, I've never been able to be calm in overtimes. And I felt more calm, not 100%.
Because he was calm.
Yeah. And, even against the Eagles, like when they were playing and that was, they were behind in that game, the one where Jalen Hurts gets knocked out of the game and he throws it to Ertz, or was it Ertz or Zacchaeus? It's the walk off.
He threw one to another guy. It wasn't Ertz. It was another guy. We just hadn't even heard his name all night. The guy that I thought was Ertz originally. Who was that?
I think it was Jesse Bates, the other tight end.
He's big, and he just, I'm like, damn, I think he was going to kill a guy.
The guy's a house. Yeah.
So, huge.
He's the guy they got Zach Ertz to mentor him, so.
You can tell.
Yeah, it shows. He plays exactly like him. But yeah, no, I just when you've got a quarterback like that, and I've really not experienced that on my team. I've seen other teams have that guy. I've never gotten to watch my team have that guy where you go, I believe there's a good chance we're winning this game, even if it doesn't make any sense.
All of this is so new for you.
It really is. I'm just enjoying it. I mean, I'll take what this is.
Your Commandos are a pleasant surprise, like ASU is for us.
Yeah, and I just think they're playing with house money right now. You're going up against potentially the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. I have no idea what they're going to do against the Rams. I mean, Michael Penix is getting a pretty good night against your defense. I have no idea what Matthew Stafford's going to do. He's probably going to have a good day, but I feel confident that they'll be in it.
So how did you feel about Jeremy Reeves proposing to his girlfriend there?
I mean, there are worse times to do it. you get you do something for a team in a city that hasn't seen it in years, and you're at home and the energy's just everywhere. Yeah.
He says, I hate losing, so there's no way I could have done that if we'd lost.
I agree.
He says, man, but this ring's been burning a hole in my pocket. And he says, if we win, it's destiny. So she says, well, she's earned it. Now, the reason he says that, because she stood by him through his injuries and was just really there for him. Because a lot of times, these girls come along, right? They get themselves a football player. And if the football player trying to get, like in college, they're trying to line them up a quarterback. You know what I mean? Trying to line them up future money. And so she was with him, and he was pretty goodly injured there, and got an ACL tear. That could go bad, Then she stood by him and helped him through it. And he says, "Yeah, you can tell a lot about somebody when they're going through the worst and how they handle it." And he says, "I was going through my worst, and but she was a crutch, and I couldn't do things myself, and she was there for all of it." So, found himself a real one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for him, and to have things going well in your professional life, and then your relationships going really well too, and you get to go to another level.
That said, you couldn't take her to dinner. I mean, this is because I don't know. I don't think I would ask anybody to marry me after a game. I think I don't know.
It depends on what their relationship is. Like if
it's all football,
yeah. Like if it's when they're together, it's our life, the football and the non-football. Then yeah, I get it.
What if she ruins football for him? They break up and he's all sad, and every time he's on the field, looks over, and goes, I mean, makes me nervous. Those things,
I guess.
Future nervousness. Cardinal Art says, hey, as long as she's not Travis Hunter's girl, for the streets, I commend the commando player. What?
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I think he's calling Travis Hunter's girl a hoe.
That I got. Why he is calling him that. I have or calling her
because-
that.
Did you hear the stories where like
I
Travis Hunter's girlfriend wouldn't acknowledge him, and then it's just kind of hard to him or something like that?
I don't. Yeah, I haven't heard that. No.
Evidently, he didn't get a good one. That's what people are saying.
Well, he's still in college.
Yeah, it's none of my business.
Yeah, you'll find somebody.
Sir Drives a Lot says, if you're lucky to have a good woman in your life, you keep her happy. Yeah, you do your best. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Happy Monday. Sorry I'm late to the show. Oh, crap. Yeah. Yeah, George, you're right. You are late.
We're almost out of show.
I don't have time to go get on this date in Big George's sports history. I can't get to it from here. Hey, George. Anyway, so yeah, if I can click on a thing and get it, I will, but I don't know if this is going to let me, because it'll take me time to do that. Well, everybody else is just awkwardly standing around. So I want to give you at least a tough guy accommodation here, man card accreditation. Nate Hobbs, cornerback for the Raiders. He played even though he'd been hospitalized with pneumonia last week.
Jeez, man.
I mean, yeah, he had 4 tackles in the game, and he was hurting. Then I was like, well, that's got to be a tough guy. And I'm like, wait a second. Kenny Pickett, he played Sunday with broken ribs. He came into the game playing with broken ribs. Mm-hmm. He had a shot before the game. He had a shot during the game, and I'm betting he had a shot after the game of some painkillers.
I would be more surprised if he didn't. Yeah.
They allow you to do that?
Yeah. If a doctor, like, once you know medically this is what the risk is, and if a doctor says, hey, are you willing to risk this to play? Yeah. I mean, I remember one time the Chargers made the playoffs when Phillip Rivers was there, and Phillip Rivers played horribly in that playoff game, and the Chargers get bounced out of the playoffs. Come to find out, Phillip Rivers tore his ACL the week before, had surgery between the weeks, and played.
And who knew? Who knew that?
Him and the coaches?
Oh, so they did know.
Yeah.
Okay. But they didn't tell anybody.
They didn't tell anybody, no.
Kind of supposed to tell someone.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But you weren't going to keep Phillip Rivers out of the game. I mean, I've never seen that before in my life, before or since. He had surgery in the week off and came back and played in a playoff game.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pickett said after the game, I'm good. I'll be all right. Of course, you're stoned. What are you talking about? You're high as a kite. And here's what he probably said today when it wore off. Cardinal Art says, basically, Keon, you got to know when to fold them. I mean, you got to know when to hold them. Give my drinks, Jeffco. What? You trying to tell him give your drinks to me? Or what?
I mean, Jeffrey will take them, but I'm not sure that's exactly what you mean.
I'll take them. I mean, I'm driving, so I'll have to save it for later.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's everything. That's everything I have to talk about. And now we've got 2 minutes left. 3, really, maybe 4. I don't know. 4 minutes. I'm out of show.
About 4. Less than 4.
Looking down here, I'm out of. Okay, let's talk about this. I was going to save this because I didn't think we'd have time. What's that, Kyle G? When your wife's been through labor a dozen times, you feel pretty unmanly skipping a game just for an ACL. Yeah, that's true about Phillip Rivers. No, you got a good point.
But this was before he was still early in his career. He wasn't the Phillip Rivers we knew he was going to be, apparently.
Right, and
having an entire football team of kids.
Kyle G, if she'd been through labor normal, then yes. But if she'd been through C-sections where the kid jumps out the window, it's not as. But it's not the same. Just saying, it's not. But, Anyway, Kane Kitten says, you don't remember the scene from North Dallas 40 where the guy takes the needle during halftime? Never saw it. Never saw North Dallas 40, Kane Kittens. Might be too young for that movie. But, I probably should see that movie. Cardinal Art says, read my last 3 texts. Where's Randy when you need him? Dude, listen, I just read one of your texts, and then I read that text, but I didn't see the other text. I can't help it. You keep texting like a machine gun. I see a text, I read a text when I get to it. So get off my back. Sir Drives a Lot says, Guinness time, gentlemen. Hey, raise a Guinness. Why not? Happy New Year. We're going to be on tomorrow, by the way. Should we not have been on tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know if New Year's Eve or New Year's is the day you're not on.
Well, we're not on New Year's Day.
Okay.
Should we have been on New Year's Day?
No.
Should we have been off tomorrow?
That is the one I don't know.
Probably make it happen.
With whichever. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I mean, a day off is a day off, but also, I've been working this whole time, so I have no point of reference.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a normal day to work. I didn't realize that it was going to be weird
because a lot of people do. I don't know if it's weird or not.
Well, I ain't changing nothing. So we'll just do it. Maybe if we get bored, we'll turn it off. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll just cut out early.
Right.
You're like, if we just keep looking at our watch, we'll be like, yeah, let's just call this. Let's go to CBS. We'll get the hell out of here. We might do that. I don't know. We will see. Big George. Okay. It's okay. He actually gave me an on this date. So let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, on this date in Big George's sports history. I don't know if I haven't had a chance to pre-read this, so hopefully it's good. Back in the year 1936, a revolution occurred in college basketball when Hank Lazzetti, Stanford University sophomore, began running one-handed jump shots, shot nicknamed the Jumper. Up till then, players attempted either the layup or the two-handed set shot, in which their feet stayed planted on the floor. By the 50s, virtually all players were shooting the one-handed jumper, a shot they owed to Hank Lazzetti, the man on the move. Back to me, Jeffrey. There you go. All right, I guess not too bad. It's not too bad.
That's a solid one, yeah. Revolutionized basketball.
Pickle D wants to know if there's any news yet with Jim Rome changing times. Yeah, he's going to go away. Rich Eisen starts next week. I like Rich Eisen.
I like Rich Eisen, too.
Yeah. Nothing else is going to change. GCU is up next. We'll see you guys tomorrow. It's the Daily Blender.
Sports betting apps are not created equal.